you play in that space where something seems to be impossible. You can look right at it and have this perception that this can't be real, this can't be happening, which is a really interesting kind of psychological phenomenon. So what we know from psychology is that, again, the visual system can be somewhat counterintuitive in that there's a couple of limits and a couple of eccentricities that in our day-to-day life we don't feel like are necessarily happening. And so what a lot of magic tricks do, not all of magic, but consistently what some of the particularly visual illusions will do is they'll kind of exploit those sorts of visual eccentricities. Like, for example, we feel like we've got this kind of continuous, really rich, vivid view of the world around us. But in fact, there's a couple of limitations on that. So like, for example, we only get high definition foveal vision, you call it, if you kind of reach out and stick your thumb out. It's about the size of your thumbnail, but it feels like that's a continuous stream. And the reason it feels like that is because a lot of what you perceive as your visual field is actually kind of a construct, effectively, of memory and guesswork and intuition. In that way, it's somewhat prone to glitching a bit. And normally those glitches, again, it's a very efficient system. This is highly evolutionary adaptive. It's a good way of processing the world, but it can glitch because you're taking shortcuts. And what magic does is it kind of exploits those glitches sometimes. And that's also very interesting for psychologists because when you learn about those limitations, you learn about those eccentricities, you can kind of learn about the edges and the mechanisms behind visual perception. So to break that down, you can see a thing, and that thing that you're seeing is not real. Generally speaking, you should trust your perceptual experiences as veridical. If we didn't do that, things would get very messy very quickly. But there are situations where you can kind of glitch out and you need to reject something that feels like a genuine phenomenological experience as being not actually true.